Hey everyone, welcome. God bless you. So happy to be here for another prosperity project. Hallelujah. And we have here with us a very special guest. I'm going to talk to him in a moment. We're really looking forward to what he has to say. It's a very special one. So just write down as much as you can. As always, we always start with the word. So I'm going to read a scripture from Deuteronomy 8, chapter 8, verse 18, that says, "But you shall remember with profound respect the Lord your God, for it is he who has given you power to make wealth, that he may confirm his covenant with which he swore, solemnly promised to your fathers, as it is this day." So we got to always remember that it is God that gives us power to get wealth, right? We need health. We need a mind that works, and all that is a gift from God. And we want to encourage people to remember that, because, and also with an attitude of thankfulness, because if you're a thankful person, you're going to be a happy person, right? Right. That's so amazing. So again, welcome to you, and welcome to the people that are watching live right now. And we're also going to be putting this on YouTube. I'm so happy to introduce our special guest here. So excited. Andrew Coombs. He is a CPA. Let's welcome him. He's a successful CPA. He has a very thriving firm, accounting firm right here in Newark. He's a recognized entrepreneur, businessman, and he also is a real estate investor. And I'm sure he has a lot to share with you tonight. So I'm going to just give him an opportunity to just take it away.
Sure.
Welcome, Andrew.
No, thank you so much. I really appreciate you inviting me here. My name's Andrew Coombs. I'm the owner of Coombs CPA. And, I'm really honored to be here, talking to you, Fernando. I guess when we could start, I could, give you a bit of a background of my life story, what I do, and just some investments I made, and just some ideas for the people out there who are, trying to make investments and trying to prosper. And we could start here. So my name's Andrew Coombs. I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts. My mother is originally from Compton, California. My dad is from Brooklyn, New York. They met in Rosendale, Mass, and I was created. I have 3 siblings. I have an older brother, and I have a younger sister. And basically, we were raised in Boston, and, hardworking parents. Something that I noticed growing up, though, is my mother, she's a physician still to this day. My dad worked as an engineer. And when I was growing up, there would be times when my dad would be working really, really hard for a job, okay? And he would get laid off. And as kids, you don't really notice this, but you process that. Mm-hmm. And it grows into adulthood. You say, why I'm the way I am? Why am I why are all 3 of my siblings entrepreneurs? Mm-hmm. We watched our father get laid off from jobs that he worked hard from. Mm-hmm. And we said, that's not going to be us, okay? So that's the start from my childhood, watching my father go through that and say, hey, that's not going to be me. I need to own, okay? Right. It's okay, if you want to work a job. Entrepreneurship's not for everyone, but even if you're working a 9-to-5 job, it's very important to own investments. You have to own something.
Yes.
Okay? And so my childhood, grew up in Boston. I ended up doing my undergrad at Loyola, okay? I'm not sure if you all heard of Loyola Chicago. It's in Illinois.
Yes, very much.
And
we used to live in Chicago.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes.
So I graduated with an accounting degree at Loyola Chicago. Part of doing the CPA, you have to have 150 hours. So, I did a master's in accounting at Bentley University in Massachusetts to get the 150 hours. Then I took the CPA. Just letting you all know what the CPA entails. It requires a bachelor's degree in accounting, master's degree in accounting. It is four-part test with a 12% first-time pass rate. Only 1% of African American accountants are CPAs. Okay. What a CPA can do that others can't do is they could do something called attestation. They could give assurance and opinions on things like, for example, in New Jersey, every nonprofit over $500,000 has to have a CPA audit. Okay, and an audit is about 7 to 10K an audit. That's for a small audit. Some audits are for bigger institutions, could be 100, 200, 300, and so on. There are certain regulating bodies that need audits every single year, and it's only a CPA can do it. And there's a shortage of CPAs because kids don't want to major in accounting anymore.
Everybody wants to be an influencer.
Right. Nobody wants to major in accounting. So, I just wanted the people in there to understand what the CPA entails. Every municipality needs a CPA audit. Every municipality. Hospitals, so many businesses to get loans. Private equity. So there's not enough auditors and CPA auditors for the business that's in the market right now. So I, started my career as a CPA. I'm currently doing an executive MBA at Columbia University. And so I started my career at one of the big four accounting firms called Deloitte & Touche. And they audit very large corporations. And I did tax work and audit work. And then I went to a company called Ernst & Young. And then I went to a company called Starwood Capital, which is a real estate private equity firm doing the controller accounting work. And then I went to a company called Becton Dickinson doing internal audit. So that's an accounting function and also doing tax work. While at Becton Dickinson, I'll rewind just a little bit.
Yeah.
When I met my wife. So I met my wife, we go on a date. And I said, she's like, what do you want to do? And I said, maybe be a CFO one day. She's like, maybe you should open up your own business. That was the first sign.
Right.
Then I heard someone else said another sign. I said, hey, you should maybe, and in my heart, in a corporation, something about it didn't feel right to me. It felt like I was not supposed to be there. I felt like I was supposed to be owning my business.
Right.
And I was fighting that. I really did not want to do that.
Because there's a risk associated with it.
There's a huge risk associated. And the thing is, okay, how am I going to get clients? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that?
And what year was that, by the way?
This was I think it started like 2016, 2017.
Wow.
And it was almost as if when I was in corporate America, God was saying no. Like I was trying to get a promotion. They said, no, we want you to wait. There were so many obstacles in that corporate setting where it wasn't a free flow of things happening for me.
Wow. And
it didn't feel right, but I was fighting the thing that did not feel right.
And all the signs were there by God.
All the signs were there. But I'll be honest with you. I love God. I didn't see myself doing that and it being sustainable. We have over 1,000 clients now. I would have never thought that. I would have never thought I would have had a business that's sustainable.
By the way, I'm a client, okay?
Yeah, I would have never thought that because it's a scary thing leaving a corporation to jump into that,
Sure.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it on the side. So I started doing it on the side. Okay? And I always told myself, if I have one more bad boss, I'm going to
That's
leave.
it.
So, I had a boss and they were like really on top of me and, just being overbearing. And, just something touched my heart one day. And it says, Andrew, just leave.
Wow. So you gathered the courage.
I got the courage. I said, I looked at the bank account and said, okay, I can survive for this. This is the client base now. They got this coming in. My heart was pumping out of my chest because at this time, you know, I'm about to get married, about to start a family. This is scary stuff.
Wow.
And
it took a lot of courage to.
Yeah, it took a lot of courage. It took a lot of courage.
Yeah, take that move.
Yeah, it took a lot of courage, and you know, Fernando, when I put in my notice, and they asked, "Where are you going? What you plan?" I said, "You know, I'm not gonna go anywhere." And it was weird. It was a nervous feeling, but it was liberating. Mm. It was, this is right. It felt, even though it wasn't, I didn't know what the future had, it felt so good.
Wow.
It felt so good. And
that can be inspirational to someone out there who's at that point in their life, right?
Yeah. It was nerve-wracking, but it felt right. I felt like I did the right thing. And from there, I just kept building. And it was rocky at first. You know, when you start a business, it's rough. There's no off switch. Mm-hmm. You are always on. Mm-hmm. But you know, first doing it was scary, but every day it got less and less scarier. Every day it got easier. I mean, I still have challenges, but
now you're hiring people.
Yeah,
you're expanding your business, which is pretty amazing for a new firm. But being recognized by various magazines and whatnot, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
for a young entrepreneur to achieve so much so quickly.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Thank God, right?
Thank God. You know, you make a lot of great points, Fernando, but I give the credit to God. Yeah. I'm just a human.
Right.
You know, this was God's plan.
Yeah. This
was the steps that He had for me.
Yeah.
It's not what I initially wanted, but I'm happy with it now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And how did you get into the real estate investing part? Because that's pretty cool. Like, because the last time we spoke, I was talking to you, and you were like, I asked you. We were talking about real estate. You just purchased this property, and I'm like, "Where's that in Newark?" It's like, not in Newark. I'm investing in other places.
Yeah, other places. Yeah. No, that's
So tell us a little bit how is that mindset has changed.
Sure.
Not just a business owner, and you obviously have a family, and so there's a lot on your plate, but you're also finding the time to invest, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's, you know, like I said, ownership is very important. You don't have to own your own business, but own something. If you have a job, own stocks. If you have a job, own real estate, own something.
Right.
And, you know, I've always been passionate about, you know, real estate. I've always liked buildings, the design of building, the structure. And, you know, basically from a tax perspective, when you invest in, you know, multifamilies, a lot of the rental income you could offset with depreciation.
And depreciation, if you don't mind explaining to people who are starting.
Sure.
What is that?
So basically, from a tax perspective, the purchase price of the property that you buy, you could divide it by 27 and a half years. Okay. And you could take that expense on your return for 27 and a half years, and it offsets the rental income. Also, mortgage interest, repairs, any of the home expenses offsets that rental income. So a lot of the times people walk away without paying taxes on rental income when you know, add the depreciation and the other expenses, okay? So real estate really is a beautiful thing. I'm gonna take one step back. I'm gonna tell you how I got to Newark.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
So how I got to Newark.
We got time, so it's on you as far as how much time.
I'm gonna jump to the real estate.
Sure.
How I got to Newark was a mistake. Now, I'm not sure if it was divine.
I hope you don't think so anymore.
I don't know if I'm still that.
People think like that.
Yeah, that part. That.
I heard Newark is a place where people with bad karma end up. I don't believe in karma, but anyway.
No, but.
That's not true of us.
No, yeah.
Amen.
But,
it's God's move. God's
right. No, that's a good point. But Newark, and the story of Newark is still not finished. Okay, but I'll tell you how I ended up in Newark. I was living in the city, and I wanted to New York.
Okay.
I wanted to start a CPA firm in Harlem.
Okay.
Or in Manhattan.
Okay.
When you start a business, you got to be careful what you spend. Manhattan was above my budget.
Oh yeah, so expensive.
It was above my budget.
Yeah.
The next best thing was, okay, Jersey City was hip. I was like, maybe I could purchase a property in Jersey City, have the residence on top, and pay for the mortgage.
Sure.
Jersey City was past my budget.
It's gone up.
It was up then.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next best thing in 2017 was Newark. I knew Newark had an airport. The first time I may have heard of Newark was maybe 2010, 2011. I saw Cory Booker speaking on Bill Maher show. Other than that, I knew nothing about Newark. I find a commercial property in Newark on Bergen Street in our neighborhood.
Right.
It was 4 units for $255.
Wow.
A guy by the name of the Santos brothers and Jorge Rosa sold it to me.
Great price. Now, looking back, how things
They said
have gone up.
They said I could sell it for $850 now.
Wow, in just a few years.
4 units.
Yeah.
Make a long story short, I did the math. I said, okay, the rent's up the top, because it's 3 apartments and 1 commercial. I said the rents on the top will be able to pay the mortgage, and I don't have to worry about rent expense. And I'm just starting the business. The money is not clicking like that because it's just the beginning.
Right.
So let me tell you about my Newark experience.
And your wife.
Yeah, she wants out. She's been one out. That's a whole nother conversation. So I opened up shop on Bergen Street, a CPA firm. People who know some people don't know what a CPA is.
Right.
But people saw that I opened it up there. We're on Bergen Street. It's not a liquor store. You know, Bergen Street is fried chicken capital. The fried chicken spot on every other block on Bergen Street. And out of daycare, but every time we turn their head over, now they have this fried chicken. Now they're doing a smoke shop.
Right.
Things that are destructive to the body.
Right.
Okay. So a CPA firm opens up there. I have people come asking questions. What's your intentions for Newark?
For real?
Because they were so surprised that a professional. Yeah. I did not do this by design. I did it to save money.
Wow.
But I had certain people come in, pretend like they were
from the community or from
the community.
Okay. So you encountered like resistance or questioning?
Yeah. I don't know where they came from, but hey, what's your intentions here? What are you trying to do here? Like, kind of pressing me a little bit. It was really, really strange.
Wow.
Hey, what's your intentions here? Some people thought I was trying to run for something.
Oh, okay.
Some people thought I was trying to run for something.
Okay.
I'm not trying to run for it. I literally opened up a CPA firm because it was cost effective. Mm-hmm. But I got some people getting weird because it was out of the norm of what's in the community. Mm-hmm. It did not fit the patina of what's in that community.
Okay.
I started doing financial seminars. I haven't done them in a while. People say, hey, what are your intentions? What are you trying to do here? That's a whole other story. But this is how I ended up in Newark, basically by trying to cut costs.
Right. It had to be the right mix for you to get started.
Correct.
Right.
So what happened was, I met a guy named, as a business started growing, I actually lived in one of the units of the 4-unit. It was like 500 square feet. As the business started growing, I started making more money. I said, you know what? I'm about to sneeze. Sorry.
No problem. Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you. Is it too cold or?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I have allergies though. It's always like that.
Okay.
As I started making more money, I bought a house in the Weequay section of St. Me and my wife moved in there. And then I bought another building on Berkeley Street the next year, where the firm operates out of now. It's bigger.
Right. Yeah.
So now we get into real estate. So a lot of the biggest investors in real estate are CPAs because they know how to work the tax law.
And just see the numbers where it makes sense.
Correct. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to ask, do you provide services for people who want to get into real estate to like look at a property and kind of like say this makes sense, and you're able to look at it and see if the cash flows and all that, or is that something you encourage people to just learn on their own?
No, if someone wants to ask, I can say, hey, this looks like a good deal, or it doesn't look like a good deal. But I like the real estate aspect because a lot of the expenses can be offset. It also appreciates with value. And as it appreciates with value, with inflation, the dollar gets weaker.
Yes.
The properties get higher. They grow with the market. The dollar, if you just have it in the bank account, it's going to be worthless in 20 years the way it's going now.
Yeah.
Things are too expensive.
Yeah.
You buy a property, you can pull that equity out.
Right.
Since when you bought your house, you know it's gone up. You can pull that money out. Yeah. Especially with them building Lionsgate, that might really change some things.
Yeah, Lionsgate, for those who don't know, is a movie studio that's coming to Newark. It's going to employ hundreds of people. Mm-hmm. They produce all these movies, and Newark is going to be in the epicenter of all that, which is great.
Yeah, no. So that's going to be really good. But real estate is something that it's always going to stay there. You can pass it along. The new thing that I do now is New Jersey, in terms of the numbers, they don't make sense.
Because things went up so much.
And rent has not gone up with the amount of the prices for these homes right now. And Newark is also they make it difficult to do business in terms of landlords. They have people who are not paying rent, and they can stay there for 2 to 3 years, and it's not fair to the landlord.
Right.
It's not fair. It's
right.
It's not fair. It's not right.
And actually discourages the landlord from investing, which in turn will create less of a supply of homes.
Correct.
Because people pull out of that market.
Correct. Absolutely. Yeah. You're right. And so now what you find in the market, you find a lot of people dumping properties. You find out specifically in Newark, you find a lot of people foreclosing on properties because people decide to get in there and it's not right. They don't pay. So I saw that in this Newark market, and I just said, I'm going to take a step back from the New Jersey market. Not to get political, I'm personally independent, but now I invest in a lot of red states because generally in a lot of red states, you're able to, it's easier to do business. You're able to kick tenants out within 30 days if they're not paying. It's none of this.
They're more business friendly.
It's more business friendly.
Yeah.
So it's none of this 2, 3, 4, 5 year people just squatting in your place. It's not. It's just not
destroying the property.
Destroying the property. It's not right.
Yeah, it's not right.
It's not right. So I do states like Indiana, Ohio. I do states with low taxes. New Jersey has very high taxes. So I'll give you an example. I purchased the building. It was 7 units about 4 or 5 months ago. We converted to 8 units. Okay. I bought it in Cleveland, Ohio. $280,000.
Wow.
Okay. It needed $40K of work. Okay. The property taxes on that 8 unit. Guess how much it is? In Cleveland.
In Cleveland, 20.
It's $3,900.
What?
Wow.
What?
When you
For a big building.
For a big building, it's 39.
Wow.
My mortgage for that building is 2229. Exactly.
I got my eyes popping like this.
Okay. That's 2229. Now,
That's the mortgage, and then now you can command a decent rent from each of these units.
well, we have a foundation from the city of Cleveland for what's it like foster kids, and they're using the commercial and the residential space.
Okay.
They're paying us $7,600 a month,
Wow.
so it's clearing close to $5.
Did you know? Was that client lined up, or it just happened?
It happened because I have
Wow.
a friend down there. He was on the ground working for me to find a tenant.
Nice.
So now we have a stable tenant who's getting funding from Cleveland, so it's stable. And then we work the numbers. $3,900 for taxes. You guys have been in New Jersey for a long time. The taxes here are like unreal.
Yeah.
In any other state, taxes like even in New York, the tax for a building is 3, 4, 5, 6K. New Jersey, you have 20K, 30K,
Yeah.
50K.
Yeah, that's why
10.
I said 20, because I'm expecting a high,
Correct.
especially for a large building, a large square footage.
Correct.
Wow.
So the thing is with Cleveland, though, the bad part is it's not an equity move. So
Right.
it's not gonna, that 280 is not gonna jump.
Right.
It's a Midwest, but you're gonna cash flow.
That's the key, right? You're not looking to make a capital gain in the future.
Right.
But that thing is going to be putting money in your pocket
Consistently.
month after month.
Consistently.
Yeah.
You're making money consistently month after month. So the negative parts of investing in places like the Midwest is that you're not going to be able to pull the equity. The good thing about Newark, the equity of these properties have skyrocketed. I don't know how. It looks the same to me. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But maybe something's coming.
Sure.
And that's what I'm thinking because, our homes where we live now, we could probably sell it in the 6s.
Right.
The way at the rate it's going, and
Right.
maybe something is coming.
Right.
But yeah, that's basically my real estate journey, and I want to make sure I'm not going over. I have an 8:30 meeting.
Yes.
I'm going to leave it for Q&A.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys do an online portal.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
How do you jump from the mindset of business owner to now real estate, and how do you seek the properties? You're just going on like Zillow, or where do you?
Sure.
How are you finding properties? You mentioned you have a friend
Sure.
on the ground, which is great. So
Sure.
I'm assuming you're paying a property manager.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to Cleveland every other week.
Right. I have a property manager. Right.
So I'll let you.
Yeah. So there's a few ways to do it. You have MLS, okay, which is online. That's whitecartrealtor.com.
Right.
The second way is people, wholesalers. Wholesalers are people who have deals off market, but they get a cut of the excess between the deal that they have with the seller.
Okay.
The next way you could do it is something called sheriff sales. Okay, those are for people who did not pay taxes. Okay, and you basically you could buy the tax lien, or you could do a sheriff sale where it's risky. You don't know if there's a lien, but you're willing to take that risk.
Right.
You also
What happens if you buy the lien and so it forecloses? You're the first in line to buy it for less. Is that how it works?
No, it's like so. If you buy a tax lien, you could buy. The city of Newark sells tax liens every year. Let's say you own $10,000 in outstanding property tax. The city of Newark wants their money.
Right.
The city said, "Hey, you could buy this guy's property taxes, and then that person will owe you. And if they don't pay you, you can foreclose on them within a certain amount of time."
Okay.
There's people that it's a little predatory. They'll buy people's tax.
Right.
Outstanding tax,
Right.
and if they don't pay it in time, they could actually take their property. So there's stories of people buying tax liens for $20,000 and taking a $500,000 property. Okay, so you have tax liens, sheriff sales, you have private sales. You have something where you could go buy a property, like you could drive by a property. You could look up the owner, Google, you could look up the water listing and ask them if you're interested in selling. Sometimes they'll sell to you directly, you give them your number. They don't want to work with a realtor because they don't want to pay that 5-6% fee. So that's another way. So sheriff sales, which are tricky, tax liens, which can be tricky. Just
And you like, I'm going to open up to...
one other thing too,
Yeah.
the bank. Some people have connections with the bank. When people don't pay their mortgage on time, the bank, certain banks, whether Bank of America, where they have a list of properties that they want to foreclose upon. You could buy from the bank. There's several ways to do it.
And that assumes like 20% down, typically speaking, for investment property.
Typically, yeah. Sometimes the banks want cash for it.
Right.
They want their money.
They want the whole money.
Yeah. And so they don't want, the bank doesn't want to have a bunch of properties. They're in the business of lending money and making money.
That's great. Anybody has questions, because I don't want to be the only one asking questions.
Yeah.
Feel free to ask, because I know we're pressed for time. But we got a few minutes, another 5-6 minutes.
And
you guys are very quiet.
I will say this: I have an Instagram, Coombs CPA, COOMBS CPA. So you can follow us. That's Coombs CPA, COOMBS CPA. I have the email. You could do info at CPA COOMBS.com, and the phone number is 973-849-9119, and the website is www.cpacoombs.com, and the address is 953 Bergen Street, Newark, New Jersey.
I was just thinking, I'm so thankful. I think it was God that connected us, because I saw a brochure for your firm, and I'm like, let me check this out. And I checked it out, and I so appreciated your services, the professionalism. You were like super on the ball, and I know you've got tons of clients now, but I just kind of feel like I'm part of the family.
No, you
in
are,
a way.
man.
And so I fully recommend Mr. Coombs' services, and I really appreciate you came.
No problem.
To speak. Anybody have questions? We're good. Okay.
Yep.
So
I have a question.
yes.
Yeah.
All you're doing everything under LLC or under
For property?
or property or your own yourself, unlike a personal name.
We do it under LLC, but one of the properties, the mortgage doesn't allow it. Okay. If you can, try to put your properties under LLC for personal liability. Because if someone was to break their leg on your property and on the deed it's your name, they could go after all your assets. If the property's in an LLC, they could just go after the LLC. That's why for a lot of developers, real estate investors, each property has its own LLC. So if something happens, they can only go after that LLC. A lot of mortgages have clauses against doing that where you can't do it. So, and if you can't, it's got to be in your name. So it just depends on the loan that you get.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's excellent. I know you got to go.
Yeah.
We just wanted to, before you, we want to give you a couple of gifts here.
Oh, no, thank you.
So,
appreciate it.
I read from the Amplified Bible, which is, we're going to give you an Amplified Bible, which
Appreciate
is
you.
a Bible with original meanings of the text,
Sure.
which is great. And also Rick Edelman's The Truth About Money,
Sure.
which is packed with good stuff in there.
Sure.
Maybe you already have the book.
No, I don't have this one. No, but I really appreciate you giving this to me. Thank you.
Thank you. And so happy to have you here.
Definitely, sir.
And look forward to what God's going to do in your life in the future.
Appreciate it.
And let's thank God for Andrew coming here today. God bless you. So we're going to...